It's Thursday, November 6th, and we're expecting a temporary warm up from the colder trends that we've been seeing. Recently, the weather has really been dominated by a jet that's been tracking way more to the south. This has allowed a lot more cooler air to creep in. But in between troughs right here, we're going to have one trough out here in the Rockies and another one ejecting out here in the Northeast. We're going to see a bit of a momentary ridge buildup before it kind of just gets swooped away by this trough pushing through, which should bring some more weather. But at least for today, we are expecting to see some temperatures nearing what feels like the 60s all the way up in parts of North Dakota and eastern Montana. Of course, in the Rockies, it's still going to be pretty cold. Then also in the Northeast, we could even potentially see some feels like freezing temperatures, but everywhere else, we are expecting to see close to 60s feels like temperatures. And if you're even more in the South, like pretty much the entire state of Texas, a lot of Louisiana, and really most of Florida, you're probably going to be feeling the 80s. And this is just a better look at what I was talking about. We can kind of see exactly those two troughs, one over the Northeast, one kind of creaking in over the western region of the U.S. And we have a little bit of a momentary ridge building in today. And then, of course, it's going to get swooped away by this trough moving in from the west, moving west to east. And then we're going to start to see those cooler temperatures build in. And then, of course, right about here, when we see this really big dip, that's when we're expecting to see that giant Arctic blast of cool air and those really cool trends that we've been talking about a lot recently. Now, a lot of the movement with our jet is going to bring some weather. We have a couple of areas where we could see potentially some thunderstorm development or just some showery weather. One is going to be out here in the Pacific Northwest. This looks like this is going to be happening during the day, and it just looks like it's going to be a lot of precipitation, not really anything strong. But this little portion right here centered on Illinois looks like it's going to come right after nightfall, probably all the way into the morning hours Friday. And this looks like this could be a little bit more formidable. Now, on the other hand, today we were not really seeing much happening at all, but tomorrow looks like we could have a pretty legit severe weather threat over parts of the Mississippi River Valley and just the general southeast, maybe creeping all the way up into parts of Kentucky as well. And this looks like this could bring all hazards of severe weather. So that means damaging winds, hail, and maybe even a threat for tornadoes. So we're definitely going to be talking about this tomorrow, and we're definitely going to be watching to see how this evolves pretty closely. But moving back today, here's what it's going to look like out here in the Pacific Northwest. Probably a little bit after lunchtime into the early afternoon, we're going to see a big line of showers move onshore and push inland. This is just going to look like it's going to be loads of precipitation falling. I think we are actually going to see quite a bit of snow in the higher elevations, so the mountains alike. There, we could see maybe even upwards of 4 inches of snow on some of our mountain peaks like Rainier, and then other ones in the Pacific Northwest, and also the Rockies and parts of Idaho. But these aren't really expected to be strong in any way, and it looks like it's probably going to stop raining for a big part of the Pacific Northwest, probably around the early morning hours Friday. So this looks like it could really last all the way through the night. Just a persistent showery pattern, not really expecting anything strong here or any strong winds either. Now, for our risk centered over Illinois, once again, I don't really think we're going to see anything develop along this cold front, which is going to take a little bit to deepen down and sharpen until probably the night hours, maybe even close to midnight. And it looks like it's going to track through parts of northern and probably central Illinois into parts of Indiana. And by the time it gets to Ohio, it looks like the sun is going to be rising. I think this could have a chance to produce some strong gusts, probably nothing severe though. And then this will also be the system that will bring that severe weather threat on Friday. So definitely going to want to look for that. Currently not really seeing a whole bunch on the HRRR model that looks super concerning, but definitely going to want to be on the lookout. And then last but not least, we are going to have some showers up here in the Northeast today. This isn't really an area that's been highlighted by the Storm Prediction Center, but it is an area where we could see some snow up in the higher elevations because of the persistent freezing temperatures up here. So that's another thing to look for if you're in the higher elevations. Probably be expecting some snowfall out here in the Northeast also.